The water glass hit the witness table at exactly 11:47 a.m. And in the 3 seconds it took for the water to spread across the polished wood surface, soaking into the papers Kash Patel had so carefully arranged in front of him, creating dark spots on the white pages that the cameras captured from multiple angles, every single person in the Senate Intelligence Committee chamber, from the most junior staffer to the committee chairman himself, understood with absolute certainty that they were watching a man's career end in real time, watching the moment when a carefully constructed defense collapsed under the weight of irrefutable documentary evidence. It wasn't the spill itself that mattered. People drop things, hands shake, accidents happen. What mattered was why the glass fell. What mattered was the document Adam Schiff had just pulled from a manila folder marked with red classification stripes. What mattered was the name Schiff had read out loud, a name that appeared 47 times in files that Patel had sworn under oath did not exist, files that had been permanently deleted from FBI servers using Patel's personal authorization code at 2:47 in the morning while he sat alone in his office. Michael Flynn. Watch until the end, because when you see the complete timeline Schiff presence, the security logs showing Patel alone in the building, the deletion requiring manual override of 6 backup systems, and the witness protection authorization Patel signed 2 days before the files disappeared, you will understand this isn't about data management or routine procedures. This is about obstruction of justice to protect powerful people, and the evidence is so overwhelming that Patel's only response was silence and a trembling hand that couldn't hold a water glass. Subscribe right now, because what this hearing reveals about how evidence gets destroyed to hide criminal activity is going to result in immediate DOJ investigation and potential criminal charges. United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Thursday morning. The secure hearing room, reinforced walls, signal-proof construction. Senators at the elevated dais, witness table below. Kash Patel sat with 4 attorneys behind him, prepared binders stacked. The hearing was routine oversight, quarterly FBI review. Patel had handled 90 minutes with practiced ease, deflecting questions with bureaucratic precision. He looked confident, controlled, prepared. He was not prepared for Adam Schiff. Schiff sat 5 positions from the chairman, silent through the first hour while others questioned Patel. Anyone watching could see him reviewing documents in a manila folder, making notes, glancing at Patel like a chess player watching inevitable checkmate approach. When Chairman Warner recognized Senator Schiff, the room's energy shifted. Everyone knew his reputation. Former federal prosecutor, lead impeachment manager, someone who doesn't ask questions without irrefutable answers. Director Patel, Schiff began, his voice carrying that prosecutorial calm that meant he was about to destroy someone. I want to ask you about FBI data security protocols, specifically regarding the preservation of classified counterintelligence materials. Would you agree that the FBI has robust systems in place to prevent unauthorized deletion of classified data? Patel nodded, still appearing confident. Absolutely, Senator. The FBI maintains multiple redundant backup systems, comprehensive audit trails, and strict access controls. It would be virtually impossible for significant amounts of classified intelligence to be deleted without proper authorization and complete documentation. Virtually impossible, Schiff repeated slowly. And if such a deletion did occur, those audit trails would show exactly who authorized it. Correct? Correct, Patel confirmed. Every action in our classified systems requires digital authentication, and those logs are preserved indefinitely. Schiff opened the manila folder. Director Patel, are you familiar with FBI Internal Memorandum DM-247, dated November 4th, 2025? Patel's expression showed the first flicker of concern. Senator, without access to the specific document, I cannot comment on individual internal reports. Let me refresh your memory, Schiff said. He pulled out a document and held it up so cameras could capture the official FBI letterhead and classification markings. This is a memorandum from Dr. Jennifer Martinez, FBI Chief Information Security Officer, addressed to you personally. Subject line: critical data loss incident requiring immediate executive attention. He set it on his desk. Would you like me to read it? Patel glanced at his attorneys. Both were writing urgently. Senator, internal security communications are sensitive materials that may contain technical details inappropriate for open discussion. This hearing is classified, Schiff said. Everyone present has appropriate clearance, so I'm going to read it. He picked up the memo. Quote, Director Patel, I am writing to inform you of an unprecedented data loss incident that occurred between November 2nd and 3rd, 2025. Approximately 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were permanently deleted from FBI primary servers using administrative override protocols that required director-level authorization. He paused. 2.4 terabytes, Director. That's not a few files. That's hundreds of thousands of documents. He continued reading. The deleted materials include 847 counterintelligence case files related to foreign influence operations during the 2024 presidential transition period, 2,341 intercepted communications between foreign intelligence operatives and U.S. persons of interest, 18,492 financial transaction records flagged for potential FARA violations, and 673 witness interview transcripts. Schiff looked up. Director Patel, this deletion was executed using your personal authorization code, FBIDHAP7734, initiated from your office terminal at 2:47 a.m. on November 3rd. This represents the largest unexplained loss of classified intelligence in FBI history. Signed, Dr. Jennifer Martinez, Chief Information Security Officer. End quote. The impact on Patel was immediate, devastating, and completely visible to everyone present. His face, which had maintained its practiced professional composure through 90 solid minutes of questioning from other senators, went pale in a matter of seconds. Not subtly pale in a way that only close observers might notice. Visibly, unmistakably pale, the color draining from his complexion in real time in a transformation so dramatic that cameras positioned at multiple angles around the room all captured the exact same moment of realization crossing his features. His hands, which had been resting calmly and confidently on the table throughout the earlier questioning, began to tremble. A small shake at first, almost imperceptible, the kind of tremor you might miss if you weren't watching closely, but then growing more pronounced with each passing second until the shaking became impossible to hide or ignore. Director Patel, Schiff continued, his voice steady. Would you like to explain why 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were deleted using your personal authorization code in the middle of the night? Patel's mouth opened. No words came out initially. His left hand moved toward the water glass in front of him. When he lifted it, the trembling was so severe that water sloshed over the rim, spilling across the table. He set the glass down quickly, but the damage was done. Every camera in the room had captured the moment. Senator, Patel finally managed, his voice thin, I don't have personal knowledge of every technical system operation. I would need to review the specific circumstances. You don't have personal knowledge, Schiff said, his voice rising slightly. This memo states explicitly that the deletion was executed using your authorization code from your office terminal at 2:47 in the morning. Are you telling this committee that someone else was in your office at 2:47 a.m. using your credentials? Senator, there could be technical explanations for how authorization codes are utilized in automated processes. Schiff pulled out a second document. Let me make this simpler. This is the FBI headquarters security access log for the night of November 2nd and 3rd. He read from it. You personally entered FBI headquarters at 11:34 p.m. You accessed the director's office suite at 11:41 p.m. You remained in the building with no other personnel present on the 7th floor. You exited at 4:18 a.m. He set the log down. The data deletion occurred at 2:47 a.m. You were alone in your office when 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were permanently deleted using your authorization code. The trap was complete, and everyone in the room could see it. Patel sat frozen, perspiration visible on his forehead, hands clasped together to hide the shaking. Senator, Patel said, his voice defensive now, I may have been working late that night, but specific technical operations are handled by specialized personnel. These could have been routine archival processes. Schiff's expression hardened. Director, let me read you another section of Dr. Martinez's memo. Quote, this deletion utilized emergency override protocols specifically designed to bypass all standard preservation safeguards. The deleted data is permanently unrecoverable. This action required manual disabling of 6 separate backup systems and explicit confirmation at 3 separate verification points. This was not automated. This was a deliberate manual deletion requiring active human intervention at multiple stages. End quote. He leaned forward. That doesn't sound routine. That sounds like someone deliberately destroyed classified counterintelligence data while alone in the FBI building in the middle of the night. Patel's voice cracked. Senator, this is outrageous. You are taking internal communications out of context and weaponizing routine procedures to create a false narrative. Let me give you context, Schiff said. He pulled out a third document. Let me tell you what was in those 2.4 terabytes. Counterintelligence case file CI 2024-847. Investigation into undisclosed foreign contacts by presidential transition team members. Case file CI 2024-913. Intercepted communications between Russian intelligence operatives and U.S. political consultants. Case file CI 2024-9847. Financial intelligence reports on unexplained transfers from foreign entities to domestic political organizations during the transition period. He looked at Patel. These weren't random files, Director. These were active counterintelligence investigations into foreign influence operations targeting the United States government. He pulled out a fourth document, and here's the most interesting part. This is a witness protection authorization form, signed by you personally on November 1st, 2025, granting emergency classified witness status and FBI security detail to Michael Flynn. The name hit the room like a detonation. Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, convicted of lying to the FBI about Russian contacts, pardoned by Trump. And now, according to the document Schiff was holding, granted FBI witness protection by Kash Patel 2 days before 2.4 terabytes of counterintelligence data vanished. Director Patel, Schiff said, his voice now completely controlled, every word surgical. Michael Flynn's name appears 47 times in the counterintelligence files you deleted. You granted him witness protection on November 1st. You deleted the files on November 3rd. So let me ask you directly. Did you destroy classified counterintelligence data to protect Michael Flynn and others connected to foreign influence operations? Patel tried to stand, his chair scraping loudly. I will not sit here and allow you to impugn my integrity with these baseless... Sit down, Director. Chairman Warner's voice cut through. Patel sat immediately, his hands visibly shaking. Schiff pulled out one more document. Director Patel, I want to read you an email sent by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate on October 28th, 5 days before the deletion. Quote, Kash, I need to strongly advise against any action to compromise ongoing counterintelligence investigations. The CI division has developed substantial evidence of FARA violations and potential espionage activities. Any interference would constitute obstruction. I am formally documenting my opposition to any proposed data modifications. Paul Abate, Deputy Director, end quote. Schiff looked at Patel with cold fury. Your own Deputy Director warned you in writing that what you were about to do would constitute obstruction of justice. You did it anyway. You granted Flynn witness protection. 2 days later, you went to FBI headquarters alone, disabled 6 backup systems, confirmed 3 verification prompts, and permanently deleted 2.4 terabytes of evidence. That's not data management, Director. That's destruction of evidence. That's obstruction of justice. And everyone in this room knows it. Patel sat motionless, no words, no defense, just silence. Mr. Chairman, Schiff said, I move that all documents presented today be entered into the congressional record. I formally request that the Department of Justice Inspector General open an immediate investigation into potential obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and violations of federal records preservation laws. And I move that Director Patel be held in contempt of Congress for refusing to provide truthful testimony about the destruction of classified counterintelligence materials. Within minutes of the hearing's conclusion, despite the classified nature of the session and the strict security protocols designed to prevent unauthorized disclosure, core details of what had transpired began leaking through multiple channels to reporters who immediately recognized the extraordinary significance of what they were being told. Not the actual classified documents themselves, which remained protected and could not be disclosed without severe legal consequences, but the devastating substance of what those documents revealed. 2.4 terabytes of counterintelligence data deliberately deleted, Michael Flynn's name appearing exactly 47 times in the vanished files, Kash Patel alone in his FBI office at 2:47 in the morning with no other personnel present, the water glass trembling so violently in his shaking hand that it spilled across the witness table in front of cameras. Video of Patel's visible deterioration, the color draining from his face, the shaking hands, the spilled water, circulated everywhere. Legal experts called it the most damning display of consciousness of guilt ever captured in a congressional hearing. By afternoon, 3 former FBI officials confirmed deleting 2.4 terabytes would require exactly what Schiff described: manual override, director authorization, deliberate intervention. Dr. Martinez's attorney said their client stood by the memo and had additional documentation. Deputy Director Abate confirmed his warning email's authenticity and would cooperate fully. The water glass hit the table at 11:47 a.m., and in those 3 seconds, everything Kash Patel had carefully constructed collapsed, not because of the spill, but because of what caused it. The realization that Schiff had documentation proving he had sat alone in his office, destroying evidence, that Flynn's protection and the deletion were separated by just 2 days, that his deputy director had warned him in writing it was obstruction, and that there was no explanation, no defense, no story that could make any of it look innocent. 3 dates: November 1st, Flynn gets witness protection from Patel. November 3rd. 2.4 terabytes of counterintelligence data disappear using Patel's authorization code. November 4th. The memo documenting exactly what happened lands on Patel's desk. 3 dates, 1 authorization code, 6 manually disabled backup systems, and 47 appearances of Michael Flynn's name in files that no longer exist because Patel destroyed them. Schiff didn't just accuse Patel of destroying evidence. He proved it with irrefutable documentation. Patel's own authorization code logged at 2:47 a.m., his own security access showing him alone in the building, his own signature on Flynn's witness protection order dated 2 days before the deletion, and the deputy director's explicit written warning that Patel deliberately ignored. The DOJ investigation is opening. The Inspector General review has begun. The documents are now congressional record. Subscribe, because when those 847 deleted case files are forensically recovered from backup systems, every name in them will be public. Share everywhere, because Schiff just proved that evidence was destroyed to protect Michael Flynn, and Patel's trembling hands and spilled water told everyone watching that he knew exactly what he had done and exactly how guilty he was.